So now they're 4 years old and they identify as two boys. The first time that I realised Stormy wanted to identify as male was about roughly 2.5.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Hey. Hi. So tell me, yeah? Yes. Yeah? So do we still have to hide who we are? No, silly. We don't have to hide anymore. We haven't hid in a long time.
Wait, what were we hiding again? Oh yeah, we did used to hide, didn't we? Not anymore.
Really? Our dad, he made sure of that. And he still does.
And he's still standing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to do a video on trans kids and their parents and content and how it's all over the internet, and I can't even believe it's all over the internet like this. The stuff I saw is unbelievable. So I wanted to really talk about this, and as you can see, I'm in a new environment. I'm out in Palm Springs for the weekend, and I thought I would film something while I'm here. So it's actually really distressing. It is. I found all kinds of stuff on TikTok, but these are the ones I felt. This particular family right here is so disgusting. I am not okay with people putting their kids on the internet, especially saying they're trans kids. So you all know how I feel about it, and I think it needs to be exposed. Number one, putting your kids on the internet is disgusting, but number two, talking about your trans kids on the internet is just next level disgusting and wrong. So let me bring up this next one. This family right here is just all over YouTube, the internet. They must be making bank, and this father is just so disgusting. I just can't even believe it.
If you talk to any adult trans people, they will tell you that since the day they were born. You ask anyone who's gay will say, I've always been gay. Oh, that's nice. People always say that she looks like me, and then she gets annoyed.
With Edie, was that something you chose?
Mummy said it because she didn't want me to change my name so much.
Mm-hmm.
I am partly male and partly female, but also I'm neither male nor female.
People would say like, oh, you're forcing it on her, or she's too young to know what's going on. I'm like, but that's your lack of, kind of exposure to that environment. You don't have a trans child. You are not a trans person. So you're just kind of like bandwagoning on what people are saying. If we sent you somewhere to convince you were a boy, or I've told you had to change back to a boy, how would that make you feel?
You'd never do that.
I know I would never do that. But how would you feel if there is some people that actually do want to do that to people?
It makes us sad.
How would that make you feel?
It makes I would be sad, but I would also keep trying to convince you that I wasn't a boy.
When she was telling me how she used to have sleepless nights because she saw a video about puberty and thought like, am I going to grow facial hair? Am I going to I'm going to have babies, right? When I grow up, I'm going to be a mommy, right? I don't know how to answer that question because it's really sad. And to see a child just be questioning it all and be like, I'm in the wrong body. Can I change, please?
So this guy just really is, I think, really scary. I think people like this who have children scare me. The fact that he's saying things that are not true. Okay, it's not true. I was a child and I do not ever think I was a trans kid. Okay, it is actually ridiculous that people think this and say this. It's so when he speaks for me, when he says all kids knew they were X, Y, and Z when they were a kid, is not true. You can't speak for everybody. You might be saying that about your child. For some reason, you think your child knows who they are at 3 years old, which is absurd and disgusting and literally not true. You go right ahead. I personally think that's child abuse, but don't say that about me and don't say that about other people who never say that, okay? I knew exactly that I was a little girl and I still knew know today that I was a little girl. I was never a little boy, okay? Maybe I wanted to be is different than actually thinking you are. You are doing a disservice to your children, okay? Pretending like you can make them from a boy to a girl. And when they grow up and they become mature enough to understand what you did to them, I really hope it doesn't turn out disastrous. Another one of these families.
Are you ready? Yeah. Pancakes. On the 6th of March, we welcomed our beautiful twins into the world. A boy called Arlo and a girl called Emerald.
The first one they said was, "This is a girl." I genuinely remember your face just like lighting up, like, "This is amazing." And then the next one was on, "This is a boy." It was like jackpot, one of each. This is the perfect combination here.
Yeah, look at Daddy flipping. So now they're 4 years old and they identify as two boys. The first time that I realised Stormy wanted to identify as male was about roughly 2.5, but it's not really, he said, "I want to be a boy." He said, "I am a boy." And that is the difference.
My name is Stormy and I'm 4 years old. I feel like a boy and I want to be a boy. Sometimes people call me girl.
Do they? How does that make you feel?
Sad.
I can't remember the exact moment it switched over, but there was that point where I thought, you know what, this isn't just a phase. This is not a little girl we're looking at here, it's a little boy. He started being unhappy with being dressed as a girl, so he started being unhappy with wearing dresses. Hair clips were a big no-no. Didn't like hair clips, didn't like the pigtails. He was genuinely upset at being dressed as a girl. Before I had children, and certainly before the last couple of years, this whole thing that I'm saying, I would have thought it was ridiculous. Honestly, I would. I would have watched me and said, "No, you're crazy. You're making it up. You're abusing a child."
We constantly say, "Are you a boy today?" Or "Do you feel like you might?" Because I don't want him to feel like he's took himself down a route that he can't turn back off.
People don't criticise your face. People criticise really badly on social media. My 4-year-old boy says he wants to be a mummy when he's older. These parents have forced their own views on that child.
Which is
Beautiful.
like, we didn't even have those views.
This comes up quite a lot. When I was that age, I wanted to be a train. I'm glad my parents didn't buy me some tracks. A lot of people say that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wonder why people say these kinds of things to you. You're putting your children on the internet where millions and millions of people see. If you don't want to have that kind of thing said about you and your own children, maybe you should keep them off the internet, okay? And the thing that you are doing is asking your child every day, do you feel like a girl or do you feel like a boy? You don't think that's indoctrination? Who does that? What other parents are literally talking to their kids like that all day long? "Hey, today, since you woke up, do you feel like a girl or do you feel like..." No parents do that. Okay, they don't do that. That is not normal behavior to your child. It is normal behavior for your child to say, "Today I want to be or I feel like a boy." That has been going on forever. That has nothing to do with being trans. That has to do with stereotypes, social behavior, or just wanting to do certain things that haven't been pinpointed as male or female.
Edie was born Eduardo. She was born male. Now it's really strange looking at her as a boy. It doesn't seem right at all.
When did you learn what transgender was?
The media told me. She said that I was transgender and I asked her what that means and she said that means you're half boy and half girl. I think I'm mostly a girl. I'm a queen.
Because of my experience in life, I now am a non-binary person. I feel like, okay, I have an opportunity here now to try and do what I wish someone had done for me. Okay, ready? Everyone, guys. Every day after school, they dinners together. It's complicated with the 4 kids because if you try to sit down, myself and Anna try and sit down and eat at the same time, it's just pure mayhem.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Jonathan.
We've been married for 11 years. We have 4 children, 6 dogs. Our house is basically insane. We've got Amelia, who is 9. Edie is 8.
So Dad identifies as non-binary. You don't think that has something to do with now all of a sudden the kid is trans and the other kids are like, and this is the guy who puts his family all over YouTube, TikTok, and it's just, this one I just don't even know what to say other than that. I just feel like it's fake. I feel like this person is indoctrinating their own children into it. It's my opinion. I also don't believe that there are children that young, okay, as who are transgender children. It is absurd and ridiculous behavior.
Instead of saying he is a transgender,
I would say he is transgender.
instead of saying he transgendered last year,
I would say he transitioned last year.
instead of saying he changed genders,
He transitioned or he affirmed his gender.
instead of saying he was born a girl,
I would say he was assigned female at birth.
and you were assigned male at birth, and you identify as,
Male,
and I was assigned male at birth, and I identify as,
non-binary.
instead of saying before he became a boy,
I would say before he transitioned.
instead of saying when he was a girl,
I would say when he presented as a woman.
instead of saying being trans means you're gay,
I would say gender identity and sexual orientation are not the same.
also,
Mind your
Unbelievable. Another dad who actually identifies as non-binary, okay, whatever, dude, indoctrinating their own children. And also, did you notice that this child is reading from a script? Watch the kid's face. He's reading from a script, okay? So it's not natural. And the dad, something looks real creepy about this one. Like the dad has his hand on the kid's back, and it just feels so forced and so wrong. And again, to me, that's 100% indoctrination. Putting your kids on the internet is so disgusting.
I'm going to be right here.
And you can squeeze it.
The 6th grader is about to have a tiny medical device implanted in his left arm.
Cut this up.
Jack's dad and mom are at his side.
Oh, jeez, I'm really terrified.
Jack, just relax.
It's
just in your head.
Hey, Jack,
relax.
Meredith's gonna put some more numbing to make sure that it's all numb, okay?
The implant stops female puberty and will keep Jack from growing breasts.
There you go.
What would you say to people who think kids are just too young to make this kind of decision?
Sure, I'm a kid, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that I'm not a girl.
An estimated 1.4 million adults in the U.S. identify as trans, 150,000 teens. But figures for younger children are largely unknown. Here in the Bay Area, there are at least 6 clinics for trans kids. UCSF serves about 800 children at its 3 clinics. Stanford sees 300 kids. Kaiser Permanente wouldn't tell us how many patients it sees at its 2 centers. But we do know there are more than 1,000 trans children served at the other 4 clinics. Some kids started therapy at 3 years old to transition socially, which means changing their names and wardrobes to match the gender they choose. Which brings us back to Jack.
You want to see it? Yeah.
It's been more than 2 years since a medical implant began pausing his puberty.
It went really well. It's in there, and you know what? It's working right now.
Doctors recommend kids get off puberty blockers by the time they turn 14, which means Jack will soon have to decide whether to start taking testosterone to blend in as a boy, or get off the drugs to restart puberty as a girl.
Let me just keep reminding you all, okay? So the puberty that Jack was blocking, okay, they make it seem so simple and easy. The puberty that Jack from 12 to 14 blocked will never come back, ever, okay? It might restart if you're lucky, but that time where there was supposed to be growth in the body and all the things naturally that happen will never ever come back, okay? So this idea that you're pausing it's not pausing, it's stopping. A very crucial part of growing up as a human being. Nothing to do with gender or sex, none of that. Has to do with it being a human being. This is literal child abuse. And this was made a while ago, but now we know that this stuff, we have actual evidence that this is child abuse. It doesn't work. Why do you think they stopped it all in all the hospitals? Okay. And then there you're going. Some hospitals won't even tell you how many kids. Okay. Kaiser, want to know why Kaiser won't do that? Because Kaiser is being sued by detransitioners for doing this exact thing without understanding the long-term implications. And here we go again, putting your kid on the internet.
Tell me why you're at Pride.
Because I'm transgender.
Do you want to share anything about your journey?
It was very tough.
Does your family make you feel supported?
Yes, a lot.
How old are you?
I am 7.
And how old were you when you discovered your identity?
I was 2 or 3 when I first noticed that I didn't feel comfortable with being a boy.
How did your child discover this identity? How did this come about?
So ever since she was little, she was always the princess. Always. She sort of like every once in a while would mention ideas of like wanting to be a girl, of feeling more like a girl. And then she started asking to like socially transition about 1.5 years ago. And her school's been fantastic.
Your family, your friends, everyone like makes you feel supported and loved.
Except for my friends. I didn't tell them that yet.
Oh, wait, you want to be on the internet talking about it then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope to be famous one day.
What do you want to be famous for?
Probably my songs or like famous drawings.
It wasn't even really.
Okay, I can't watch that one anymore, especially because the guy next to the whole thing looks like such a pea person and is all like, oh, all happy for this little kid. Like, what, dude? What? How do you even know? This whole video just freaked me out. This man, just like old grown man, sitting here smiling about this little kid who's trans. The whole thing just feels so insanely creepy and nasty. And how can a 2 and 3-year-old know they're trans? Let's just be honest here, people. This is so absurd. And then putting your child on the internet, it's always the same kind of parents putting their children on the internet for their own self-gratification. It's content. People make money off their children. Okay, some of these people have millions of followers on TikTok and they're making money off of their children and the children's identity.
What concerns have you had about speaking out?
That I'm gonna be like murdered. Like one day I'm gonna be walking down the street and somebody's gonna come up and like shoot me or something.
That's a really scary thing to be worrying about at 10 years old.
Yeah, that should not be a worry.
Michelle, what's going through your mind as you hear your daughter say this?
It's just hard to hear her say that. And she asked me three questions after she heard who won the election. Are we going to have to move? Are they going to take me away from you? And am I not going to be able to get my medicine?
Okay, so who's telling the kid that? Okay, all of those things are the adult telling the children, Trump is a bad person. There's no way a 10-year-old knows it without their parents telling them all this. It's everything here from these children is being led by adults, mostly their parents, all what child says, I feel like I'm going to be murdered at 10 years old because they're transgender? Only a child who has been told that by their parents. Okay, so this is I just can't believe that this is happening. And I can't believe these poor children. I cry for them inside because it's not because they're trans, it's because they're not trans and they're actually going to, we all know it. They're all going to grow older and go, what did you do to me? These parents are going to be just hated by their children. Okay, you think this is like all la 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 time right now? You just wait. You just wait. How dare you say that your 2 and 3-year-old is trans and then put them on the internet and get it all like what? You're actually fear-mongering your own child. So now I wanted to bring these last 2 things up. I'm just really disgusted by this whole thing. I want to bring these 2 up because watch this.
My name is Prisha Mosley. I am a detransitioning woman who began my social transition at 15 years old. I was told that my depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, and borderline would all go away if I transitioned, but it wasn't true. Starting at 17, high doses of testosterone were injected into my anorexic body. The side effects were severe, are permanent, and started within days. The damage from the testosterone is permanent, however, and I will not heal from it like I healed from my eating disorder. I am also suffering from chronic pain. On top of this, I lost my ability to sing. I cannot raise my voice to scream if I'm in danger. Testosterone silenced me. 1 year after starting hormones, my healthy breasts were removed. The surgery was incredibly traumatizing. My breasts have been incinerated, and I will never be able to feed my children.
In Prisha Mosley's case, which was the very first case we filed, received a landmark ruling. And what the judge ruled is, Prisha's claims for fraud, facilitating fraud, and civil conspiracy will proceed, and that she does have a legally viable case on those claims. This is the first ever substantive ruling like that in a detransitioner case nationwide. And it's a very big victory, and we fully intend to pursue those claims all the way to a trial if necessary.
Well, the reason why, I'm sure you know, I brought up Prisha, who I interviewed like early on in her detransition time. She went on to become a great advocate for this detransitioning. This is the future for these young people. This is the future. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it straight up. This is the future for all these little 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids who think they're trans and are being put on puberty blockers, being put on cross-sex hormones, having their breasts removed at 15 years old. And then this, you think that Prisha's the only one? There are thousands of these young girls, thousands of them coming out now saying they wish they never did it. So do you think, and they went on it at 15. So you think a 10-year-old isn't going to like wake up when they're 15 or 20 and go, wait a minute, what? I just am appalled at the trans community pushing this stuff. Wake up, everybody. This is a disaster. Okay. The last thing I'm going to bring you is this, because this person has a huge amount of influence to these young people.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. It's very clear that you as a parent are trying so hard. And for all the parents watching, you do not need to get the pronouns right. You don't need to get the labels right. You just need to get your heart right. Know that you love your child, especially with everything that's been going on right now. You give me so much hope in the world. Please love the stew out of that kid.
So here, Mr. P Man, okay, he loves the kid. I don't know if you got a chance to see what that says. It says, my son has just come out as transgender, and I hope she watches, okay, what? You, because you are a true role model. So they're calling them their son, but then using she. And then the parent wants their own child to watch this, who is continually indoctrinating children, okay? So this guy wants your kids. Be careful. We all know it. It's true. This is what happened when we opened it up to LGBTQIA plus maps, okay? So with that, I just hope people start realizing the damage we are doing to these young people, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over. No such thing as trans kids. I am a 32 plus year transitioned adult. Okay. And I will tell you that I was not a trans kid. I was a kid going through everything else all kids go through until I got old enough to understand maybe I need to do this to make myself a better person, which I did. And I became a better person as an adult and made it on my own choices. No parent should ever be making these choices for their child. Okay. So with that, thank you all so much for liking, subscribing. My channel is growing like mad lately, and it's all because you are supporting it. And I continue to get shut down on YouTube. It's just part of the game, I guess. So again, let me remind you, I'm a transsexual and I have a different opinion about what's going on in this trans community. So thanks again. I'll see you guys all on the next one. Don't forget the live on Wednesday.